Presented by Sky Vodka. Please drink responsibly.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip just celebrated their 70th wedding anniversary. How long do you think our partnership's going to last?
I'm sorry, did you say something? I was texting Pablo.
That's right. Well, you run off with Pablo if you want.
Yeah.
You and Pablo.
Like Pablo.
Talk about, it's not even May, December.
No.
It's like February 1st and December.
Yeah. Or as all of his friends call him Pablo. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Celtics keep streaking. A big name in college basketball done. And Jerry Jones continues to poke the bear. But we begin today with the Atlanta Falcons going into Seattle and beating the Seahawks 34-31. Now, we can talk about what this means going forward for Atlanta, but we need to talk about Pete Carroll first.
Amen.
He made a bizarre call with 7 seconds left in the first half, going for a fake instead of a field goal from the 24-yard line. And he wasted a timeout with a dubious challenge in the fourth quarter, which ultimately made his game-tying field goal attempt from 52 yards out, and it fell short by about 2 yards. Wilbon, did Pete Carroll lose this game?
Absolutely, yes. Now, don't get me wrong. Pete Carroll's place as a coach, as a great coach, is secure. Because Pete Carroll has made enough big decisions and gotten his team to produce and rallied teams and uplifted teams. He's done all that.
Marshawn Lynch should have been carrying the ball.
However, Pete Carroll has done some of the bonehead things in coaching history. Marshawn Lynch, a couple of years ago, to lose a Super Bowl, which would have been back-to-back. There was a couple at USC. And then last night, Tony, the great Pete Carroll, you're sitting there watching the game, and you're like, kick the field goal, keep narrow the margin. They're going to score in the second half. You're at home. You can't rely on your defense anymore because half of them are hurt. Yeah. The Hall of Famers are not even out there. What the hell was he doing? And the one with the booth replay, you got guys you employ. This is like John Fox. You asked me 2 weeks ago, is John Fox responsible? Hell yes, he's responsible because his guys let him down. Pete Carroll challenged something that is the dumbest challenge ever.
Do I get to talk at some point?
Okay, now you can.
Okay, because you attacked the Buffalo guy yesterday, and now you're attacking Pete Carroll, which I understand. I have to tell you that when they went for the fake field goal, I sort of liked it. I mean, I thought it was...
You liked it in your subversive way.
I thought it was innovative. I thought it was creative.
It was dumb.
In hindsight, two things are true. It didn't particularly fool Atlanta, although it fooled me. It didn't fool Atlanta. And again, if you're going to lose a game by 3 points and those 3 aren't on the board, that means that when you talk about it the next day, it assumes a larger thing.
But we knew this last
night. They're
done.
Well, we agree Seattle is never.
Probably because
they've lost their 2 home games. Their defense. Russell Wilson, I thought if you got 25, you'd win.
He was great. Yeah. He played as well in defeat as you can He played as well in victory as you could play.
Can we talk about Atlanta? Because I don't think they're done. I think
their schedule's hard. What's up with all the stupid NFL coaching moves? Hold on
1 second.
What?
Their schedule, the last 6 games are hard, but 5 of them are against division opponents, which means you can climb up and knock somebody else down. I think that's what you want.
Atlanta should have lost 3 games, including last night, too.
But they didn't.
No, because it was stupidity.
But they didn't.
From the Seattle sideline. Let's talk ball, Tony. The Boston Celtics won their 16th straight last night in Dallas in OT. 2 things stood out. 1, the Celtics made their biggest fourth-quarter comeback of the year, their 3rd straight fourth-quarter comeback, this one from down 13. And 2, Kyrie Irving scored 47, 10 in OT. Now, in NBA history, 22 teams have had winning streaks of 16 or longer, and 12 of those teams reached the NBA Finals. So, Tony, do you see a dominant team taking shape in Boston?
Dominant? No. Because they have, at the moment, 1 great player. And I think the dominant teams have 2 and 3 great players. If Kyrie Irving has a bad night, where do they go? That's when you feel the loss of Gordon Hayward, because he would be out there on this team. What I see is a very, very good defensive team. Real effort all the time. A really good coach. And my conclusion is that they're winning all these games now before it really counts in the way that I think it has to count.
There was a streak like this a few years ago that Yao Ming started, and Tracy McGrady was there for the whole thing in Houston. They won 22 in a row, if my memory serves me
correctly.
Where'd they finish? It was early.
Yeah, it's
early.
And
they couldn't get it back. You can't sustain it.
Yeah.
So, the question becomes your intermediate questions. Can you zoom right and stay past Washington, who they had a nice little tussle with last year, and can you catch Cleveland? Those become the intermediate questions. But, Tony, you don't seem to like Brown and Tatum. You don't seem to have any faith. You keep going to Gordon Hayward. Well, and I know Gordon Hayward was their prize offseason
that's right. They
acquisition.
paid $1 billion for him, and he played
Tony,
2 minutes.
Sometimes guys emerge, and you seem reluctant at this point.
Here's what I'll tell you. Brown is in his second year. But Tatum, as good as he is, and he's long and he's athletic, he played maybe 30 games in college, right? So this is an 82-game schedule, and if you're good in the playoffs, it's another 20.
He's going to hit a wall.
So that's exactly what happens ultimately to rookies. So I think they build something for the future, and I think they look very good. And you know what does impress me? This is the second really good team that Danny Ainge has put together. Maybe he's Red Auerbach. Yeah, well, maybe that's where he learned. No, but he won a championship. He put together a big team.
Danny's great.
So maybe.
By the way,
maybe
is Kyrie Irving the MVP right now?
Right now, yeah. And what I wonder about is how much of this is the adrenaline caused by people like you and me saying, "What are you doing, kid? Why are you leaving LeBron James?" So I wonder.
It's working out okay.
Absolutely. Speaking of LeBron James currently leads the NBA in minutes played. Although he played only 27 minutes last night, LeBron is averaging 38 minutes a game. His coach, Tyronn Lue, says he is unconcerned. Lue says, quote, "I played with Michael Jordan when he was 39, played 37 minutes a night. Karl Malone was 37, played 38 minutes a night. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Kobe, everybody's built different. If you're one of the greats, sometimes you got to play, sometimes you get rest like tonight," unquote. Wilbon, should Ty Lue be more concerned about LeBron's minutes?
No, I love Ty Lue. I love him. And Ty Lue is the only guy so far. I'm sure they all have their pushback in private moments. I like Lue because Lue, as we know, is small relative to the NBA, a small person. And
you mean physically?
Physically.
Yeah.
And to be in the league as long as he's been in the league as a player and a coach, you have to be tough, mentally and physically tough. And he pushes back on LeBron sometimes. And he asks LeBron to play fewer minutes. LeBron during the game says, "No, never mind, I'm good." Well, maybe it's not good. So now Lue's gone another direction. He says, "Okay, fine. All these guys have played all these minutes, so don't tell me about your minutes. Don't want to hear about the minutes." I love T. Lue. Look, Tony, Wilt Chamberlain, as you know, once averaged 48.5 minutes a night. There are guys, Allen Iverson played 42 a night. LeBron's not the first guy to play heavy minutes.
You and I remember Wilt Chamberlain. We also remember, because we watched him, he went from foul line to foul line. He didn't have the kind of
That's
effort.
true. Not like he didn't spend the energy that LeBron
He didn't dribble the ball up the court and do all the things about
He didn't fly private either.
Yeah, I don't want to compare people who played 40 years ago with people who played now. That's like when people look at pitchers and they say nobody pitches complete games anymore, so they're not as good as the old pitchers. But nobody pitches complete games anymore. I want to talk about these minutes.
Okay.
Tyronn Lue can take LeBron James out, but LeBron James puts himself back in.
He does.
Right? He's his own coach,
know this.
And he puts himself back in. He's 32 years old, but in terms of minutes played, it's an ancient 32. But what I would suggest here is that, like Tom Brady, he's just different physically than other players. Every year, he plays the most minutes. And he goes to the finals every year.
He knows his body.
You don't apply standards to other people.
No, and I'm not saying that they should do anything different.
And by the way,
all I'm saying is what they do, what LeBron does works.
By the way, and here's something else he'll do.
What?
In January or February, he'll take 10 days off. He'll go to Miami at Dwayne Wade's old house, and he'll be fine.
Has he earned it?
That's what, 100%. Okay. Sure. That's what he'll do.
Jerry Jones won't stop, Tony. Pro Football Talk is reporting that Jones intends to ask for a secret ballot of owners to vote thumbs up or thumbs down on a new contract for Roger Goodell. Usually, 17 owners have to call for a secret ballot, and it would take 24 owners to reverse that 32-zip vote in May, which already paved the way to give Kamish his new deal. Tony, you think Jones is gaining or losing allies among the other NFL owners?
I think Jerry Jones needs to know when to fold them, and I don't think he does. He is becoming an obstructionist, and he's becoming a bozo.
He's a nuisance.
Okay, and at some point, the other owners are going to say, you know what, we're tired of this guy, and they're leaking all these terrible things about him. At some point, somebody in a small meeting is going to say, let's punish him now, and maybe even get rid of him down the road. Jerry Jones, who we like very much, Jerry Jones has always been an outsider. He got the league to bend to his will because he showed the league he can make the money.
And then he became an insider.
But at heart, he's an outsider, and that's what he's doing now.
Okay, but you know what? There's only one Al Davis. And it's not so far removed from our memories that we don't remember the real Al Davis. So you can't have somebody acting as Al Davis. And Jerry's not Al Davis. As great as he may be, he's not Al Davis.
No.
So he's not that much of a maverick. He took the league. You're right, Tony. I mean, he co-opted them to do everything he wanted,
and he made the money.
Was right.
He was 100% right.
He was right.
He was 100% right.
Now he's put himself in a position, whether it's Ezekiel Elliott or players in the anthem, he's put himself on the wrong side of so many things.
Well,
the other owners are saying, we're tired of you. I don't think they'll try to force him out. I think this is chin music, and I think he's losing allies.
Like
constantly.
last year, this happened to Robert Kraft with Tom Brady. And Robert Kraft, after a while, shut his mouth and had the greatest revenge of all. He won the Super Bowl, and Goodell had to hand him the trophy.
Well, Jerry's not winning.
Well, but he ought to think that he's now becoming a crazy old man, and he should not do this. Hall of Fame second baseman Joe Morgan has sent a letter to all Hall of Fame voters on behalf of many Hall of Famers, he claims. And in it, Morgan says, quote, by cheating, steroid users put up huge numbers, and they made great players who did not cheat look smaller by comparison, taking away from their achievements and consideration for the Hall of Fame. That's not right. The cheating that tainted an era now risks tainting the Hall of Fame too, unquote. Wilbon, I know you don't have a vote. Please pretend you have a vote. Would Joe Morgan's letter have an impact on your vote?
I'll get to that in a second. I'll get to that. I will answer the question. It doesn't matter what I think, because what I think is I respect Joe Morgan as much as any person I ever met in all of my years around baseball or covering sports to sports writer. You ask me, who do you respect in baseball? Joe Morgan is at the top of that list with Frank Robinson and some Cal Ripken and some other people like that, but Hank Aaron. This is so eloquent. It is so persuasive that what I would do if I voted, and I don't, I did vote in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I don't vote for this. I would take Joe's advice, and for at least a couple more years, I would not vote for those people. Joe Morgan is that convincing to me. You know him much better than I do, and I know how much you respect him.
I have him on the radio all the time. Love him. This is a very passionate, reasoned letter, and it is aimed at Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds most of all. He don't want him in there. And a lot of guys don't want him in there. A lot of voters don't want them in there. I would consider it, but my position is different. I've always thought you have a Hall of Fame, you put stuff on the plaques.
Right.
Maybe you can't put stuff on the plaques. Me, Pete Rose ought to be in the Hall of Fame for the way he played.
And you have talked about that and lived with Joe.
You know, I look at Barry Bonds and I look at Roger Clemens, and I think these are two of the greatest players of all time. Were they made better by steroids? Probably, but I think they were great.
But does his argument persuade you to give credence to the notion that they cheated?
Yes. Oh, and I think they did cheat.
And so you would vote what this year if you had a ballot in your hand?
I would still let them in and seek another remedy, because I don't know. It's not the Hall of the very good, and there are some players in there that are very good. These couple of guys were great.
But what Joe argues is they look great because their numbers so diminished to very good to very good.
Were Bonds and Clemens?
They were great.
They were great. This is aimed at them.
They were great.
Let's take a break. Coming up, is it better for college football if Alabama or Auburn wins on Saturday?
And what was more impressive, Joel Embiid's block, or coming up, wait for it, that flop right there.
You love Embiid, right?
You have to love Embiid.
I think, but you love Embiid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He is great and he's entertaining.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Sky Vodka. Make every day. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour. And in part by Domino's. Oh, yes, we did.